We're live. Hello.
Hello,
How's it
hello,
going,
hello,
everyone?
hello, hello, and welcome. We got some familiar faces in chat. Got Monty hanging out with us. Ominous Vixen's in chat. What's up, Ominous Vixen? Y'all,
How's it going, everyone?
if you guys aren't following Ominous Vixen on Twitter, you should give her a follow. She's one of our CCs and recently returned from a hiatus, so make sure to give her a follow and check out her content. So what do we got? What do we got going on today, Cab? Cab and I are gonna be running some duos. We're gonna do a couple tier 6 games with Tragic Loss, who is actually streaming to Steam today. She's streaming to our store page on Steam, so that is why Cab and I are filling in, hanging out with y'all today. Howdy, howdy, Kurt on Facebook. Randall, hello, hello. Randall says you never stopped following her. Is that weird? No, that's not weird at all. It's, I think from my experience, that's typically how Twitch works. Got Lady May hanging out in chat. What's up, Lady May?
Hello.
So I'm gonna swap over to our platoon screen here. But you're gonna wait a few minutes.
Platooning with Tragic, but Tragic is streaming to Steam, so she can't hear us and we can't hear her. We're gonna play a few games together. But just she's reaching those new Steam folks. 6-year kid says Cab has sunburn and Domo has jaundice.
So his lighting keeps changing from what's on based on what's his monitor. I could hold on. Let me mess with that a little bit.
It should be set now. But yeah, when we were getting ready for the stream, I kept changing windows, flipping between email and stuff.
I can fix this. I have the technology.
Oh, I have a confession to make. I was just answering some messages that from PMs I got last night from people asking if I was playing. And the reason I didn't respond to them last night is because I alt F4'd after getting RD'd for 948 damage.
That'll happen.
Sometimes you know, sometimes you just gotta take a break. It happens.
Yeah,
and also don't get caught by RD while playing light medium.
I had a similar experience last week. I was playing my Swedish boys. I was playing the medium tier 10, the Udes 1516 and the Kranvagen. And yeah, getting hit by Artie in the Udes is not an enjoyable experience. I'm going to swap over to the game screen here. So looks like Tragic is ready to go.
We're all playing KV2Rs, by the way.
Yes.
All of us. All three. Magnus on YouTube says, will you update the Bond shop with new tanks soon? Unfortunately, I did just ask this question of the man responsible, and there is no immediate plan to update those. There is a plan to eventually update them, but not in the immediate future. But as we get closer, hopefully we'll get more details. Sorry about that. I wish we had a more frequent update, but on the cards right now. We do have 1.13 coming up, and wow, there's a lot of cool stuff in that patch. I'm really excited for you guys to get the full patch note.
Yeah,
I think a lot of you are going to
be a big one.
Very surprised and very happy about some of the changes coming in 1.13.
I think the article for the comment test is already up, right?
There's parts of the patch I don't believe that have been announced yet.
Gotcha. Well, I know we got
or available in the comment
in
test.
the article. We've got the new ranked battles format. We've got the map. Gosh, what's it called? The recon missions. God, so much stuff. All the balancing that's happening to a bunch of different vehicles. Gosh, I'm still forgetting stuff, I'm sure, because there's so much stuff in the patch.
Random dude says, is it pronounced Udes or Odes? I pronounce it Udes, but I'm not actually sure what's appropriate.
Yeah, that is my horrible American interpretation of that pronunciation right there.
Hey, David, how's it going? Yakare, I believe, on Twitch, popping in. It's pronounced Udes, like send Udes, says Valdor. That is also a fun way to pronounce it.
Send Udes to the north flank.
Starfjord, which isn't, I like that. That's a fun name. Says it's pronounced Odyssey. Is that actually what it's supposed to be? Seems like more like an acronym, but I'm honestly not sure. We need to call on our S-Tank experts. I bet Sophie knows.
Somebody give the chieftain a jingle, maybe. So I was memeing about this with Tragic earlier, as I was setting up the nameplates. But your job title is so long that it doesn't fit in the nameplate.
Oh yeah, well that's why Tragic never actually puts my real job title in there. Like, she always just puts
See, so Quebec
offensive.
is senior manager of events and community, and I had to shorten senior to get it to fit. But it's a long title, you know.
Oh, like cabbage. I think my Twitter profile says millennial duck farmer. That's my dream job title. You know, what did Elon Musk make himself? Star Lord? Or he's got some, or tech master or something.
I honestly, I'm not familiar. Elon is just an enigma to me.
And then their finance guy is the master of coin.
I just know him as that guy who tweets and then my crypto prices change. Okay, we got.
You see him on
Ooh,
the,
okay.
I did actually. Yeah, you know, I don't always watch SNL, but I had to check in on that one. I really want to shoot this T40, but I might die doing it. He's gonna die anyway. I'm gonna back up.
The T150. Oh no, Amar, he uses Get.
I didn't expect the Eagle 7 to run down and get him. Wait a minute, I thought. Oh, I'm so wrong. I thought Tragic pinged the south, and you guys are not here at all. What a good for not paying attention.
Oh,
Randall
no,
says,
yeah,
found Tragic lost on Steam. Go Dino. There you go.
yeah, apparently streaming to Steam is a little less exciting because there's not a lot of chatters hanging out. Lots of people kind of just filter in through the store page, check out the stream, hang out for a bit, and then, you know, move on to Steam-related things. So I'm glad we get the good crowd here hanging out with us.
We're so blessed.
Tragic and I we're going in on this flank. I'm just worried that there's
M44 for
yeah,
16 damage. How lucky am I?
TDs up there. I'm gonna blind fire a bush. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I hit him.
Spotted.
I'm blind firing again. Oh boy, that's a super Hellcat. And that's an M44. Okay, never mind. Time to leave. And there is the IKV that I was shooting at earlier. I guess maybe I didn't hit him.
Mudshark says you guys should wear Speedos instead of winning pool. Wrong category, Mudshark. That is the category.
We don't do hot tub streams here.
I did. Well, Domo, I hate to say it, but the other week on Working as Intended, I did say that if people donated enough to the charity stream, that we would do a Domo hot tub stream.
I hope they didn't donate enough.
We did do really well, but I don't think we did that well.
Again, y'all don't want to see me in a hot tub. Trust.
Shout out to everyone that participated in our USO charity stream last weekend. It was hugely successful. I believe we more than doubled our intended amount.
That's incredible.
Thank you to all the wonderful CCs that volunteered to stream during that marathon.
And I know Tragic can't hear us, but everybody should send Tragic a message or let her know next time she's on stream that she did an absolutely amazing job handling all of the logistics for that and putting everything together. Tragic was working like super crazy overtime and making sure that all of that went off without a hitch and it all went
also,
quite
she set
smoothly.
up all the silent auction stuff. I have to be honest, I was a silent auction skeptic, but it came off really well.
On a USO. Heck yeah. Heck yes.
So I did see, let's see, somebody said, David on Facebook said, do you guys believe the Rheinmetall Waffenträger is still viable in the game? I think it should get a bit of an armor and a speed buff. Are you referring to the tier 8, the ambush German TD? The Roomba, as we call it. If that's the one you're referring to, I mean, it is bad at those things, but the trade-off is like the nastiest gun at tier 8, right? and pretty good camo. So I don't know. It's already one of the nastiest ambush predators in the game. I feel like it has to be a bit slow and fragile, right? If that's the one you're referring to.
For all my years playing this game, I have never gone down the Roomba line. But I should give it a shot. Although I guess I hear that it's kind of a mixed bag with the grill at tier 10.
And then somebody...
Tragic says
Magnus
she can
says,
hear our compliments. Good, good. We appreciate you, Tragic.
Magnus says, is it on purpose that bots in low tiers don't fill up the games to 15 on 15? I imagine so. Believe that to be true, but that's one of those things that I'm gonna want to ask to be sure about. So to step up your game, Cabmac, I had a good game.
Definitely better than I did.
I survived. What's she talking smack?
Tragic led me to my death by crossfire.
Well, I mean, you guys did. We won the game, so whatever you did worked. That tank is the KV2 Ragnarok edition, Zachariah. That is our Warhammer 40k. It's a Valhallan tank. If you didn't know, or if you are a Warhammer fan, or if you're not a Warhammer fan at all, Warhammer is, of course, the famous tabletop game, and obviously that's a whole universe now with their own comics and video games and everything, what have you. But the original, one of the original tank designs for the Imperial Guard in Warhammer 40k was based on the KV2. So as a tribute to that, we partnered up with Games Workshop and produced this Valhallan KV2 Ragnarok, which is a really nice tier 6 premium tank.
I didn't know it was based off of that there was an actual tank in the game based off the KV2. I thought that was just a kind of inspiration from the art style. That's sweet.
Kaiser on Twitch says, which Wargaming NA employee has the best win rate? I believe Al Gray.
Either Al Gray or Food Printer. I think it's Al Gray.
It's pretty close between them, but they're both really good.
Speaking of Food Printer, though, we actually, spoilers, we might probably, well, not might, but we're hoping to get him on Talking Tanks next time in a couple of weeks from now.
Food Printer is a treasure. Absolute treasure.
He is indeed a national treasure, and he has some of the best dad jokes around. He's banned from entering the dad joke contest.
Money says he's owed 2 Tog flutes.
Oh, I'm producing the stream. I don't have all the bells and whistles. So if you want to cash in those Tog flutes later when Tragic is here with the bells and whistles, feel free to nag her about that.
Magnus on YouTube asks, will there be new nations introduced to the game in the future? It's one of those things where I want to say almost definitely, but I have no time. We're always working on new tank lines. I believe next up we have the Czech heavies coming. At least that appears to be the plan. Until stuff gets in the pipeline for the live server, we're never sure, because stuff takes different amounts of time to balance and make and to finish up. But yeah, I would say it's very possible, or very likely that in the future we'll see more nations. But again, nothing specific planned at the moment. We have a couple existing nations that are getting new lines.
Monty Tragic says in chat to let everyone know that the bells and whistles will be on all of the streams soon. So we're getting bells and whistles. Heck yeah. Rob from YouTube says, I love this game. Thank you guys in Galaxy. Thank you, Rob, for your support. Without the support of folks like you, then folks like me wouldn't have a job.
True. Agent Orange on Twitch, sorry, not Twitter, says, so what's the total for USO? I believe our target was 10,000, and I believe our total was over 22,000. So.
That is incredible. Thank you, everyone, for your support. It's awesome. The USO is doing a lot of really great stuff, for the military and veteran community. So, it means the world to see so much support, for the stuff that we were doing with them. And for the USO in general. Come on, Crusader. You want a little peekaboo? Peekaboo? Ooh, okay, I'll take that trade. I'll take that trade indeed.
Mine missed, sadly. Tragic is the director of Bells and Whistles. If she wants that title change, I'll try and push it.
Hey, Blobber, there have actually been, fingers crossed, 0 technical issues today.
Aside from Tog Whistle not working, I think that technically counts as.
That's not my fault. The director of bells and whistles hasn't delivered my bells and my whistles yet. Hey, what's up, Uncle Iro?
Wow. Scatter.
Poor M6. Every time he pokes, he just loses more health.
He'd be dead if my shot didn't hit the rock in front of him.
Yeah, I got a lucky snapshot on him on the first one.
Ruthless asked, how do you like the Polish 25 TP KSUST2? That's the tier 6 medium? Am I right?
It's either the tier 5 or the tier 6. I don't recall. It's a fun one. It looks goofy. It's super goofy. But it was actually like based off of I think, I don't know if it was in service, but it was like one of the earlier Polish tank blueprints.
I used to know. Oh, okay. We got tanks coming in front of us. They're trying to flank our Caro.
Uh-oh. Yeah, and I'm just getting popped by this grill over and over.
All right, so we'll try and focus the KV1.
I'm just about reloaded.
I just accidentally fired an AP shot.
Oof.
Oh yeah, big oof. Tragic's laughing because she can hear us, but we can't hear her.
Before the stream, Before the stream, I made sure to put my HE shells on my one slot.
Yeah,
so I'm a dead man.
I have done that. I just actually managed to switch to an AP shell accidental.
Oh, nice. Got 4 seconds on my reload. I can hit the Caro. There we go.
I'll take a hit from the KV1 for you.
I'm gonna die if I take another one.
Yeah, he's you can just follow up on me. I'll take
the other one's poking. Got 5 seconds on my reload.
Trying not to use my repair kit.
Ooh.
Nice. Me melt down all the KV2s. Starshore, not a fan. Mr. Captain says, if we're going into some of the older tech trees, I get a sense there needs to be a rework buff to some of the older tier 8 tanks. Some new premium tier 8s as well. Newer tech tree tier 8s have 10 to 30 more pen than older tech tree tier 8s. It's a little discouraging to play T69 with barely any pen to do anything in tier 10 matches. Could just be me. Mr. Captain, I think you're totally right. Updating the trees is actually something that has been happening slowly over the last couple of years. Most recently, I believe, for sure the E100 tree and the E50M tree both got updated from tier 8 to tier 10.
There is also a host of balancing changes in coming up in 1.13. So and those patch notes are, or those changes are in the common test notes on the news portal. And Scorpiani from the forums made a really nice guide just going over all of those changes that we pinned to, I want to say it was the general forum. No, he's not in here, unfortunately. I was going to say I could poke him to drop a link in chat, but I don't think he's joining us today.
Oh, is that what's happening? The chat's disabled on the Steam stream?
Oh, interesting.
Maybe that's why Tragic's not getting any talkers.
I
wonder if there's a setting we haven't discovered yet. Zany says, when is the Chinese turreted TD line coming out? Is there a Chinese turreted TD line, Domo?
I heard about Japanese TDs like 2 years ago from this stream.
Japanese TDs have definitely been worked on, but are not in the release pipeline. I haven't heard about Chinese turreted. It doesn't mean they don't exist, if I'm honest, but it does mean they're not coming immediately. Mr. Captain said, yep, saw those. Was happy to see the buff on the turret armor, the E50. Yeah, the E50's... honestly, the E50 of those 3 tanks, the from tier 8 to tier 10, probably didn't need to get buffed. It was already pretty darn good, in my opinion. But the E50M and the Panther 2, for sure, loved a little, or needed a little love, and I'm glad they got it.
Favorite flavor of ramen? I don't know. I like tonkatsu. Tonkatsu broth.
Yeah, what kind of ramen we talk about?
Instant ramen or
instant ramen, probably chicken. I like to get the chicken ramen and put in a bunch of pepper.
Chicken ramen is good with a little bit of fried spam too.
Probably in Austin we have one. Well, there's a couple of really good ramen places. I don't want to say we only have one, but Tatsuya is the one everyone talks about, and it is really good.
Yeah, it
and
is incredible, but it's so hard to like get ramen Tatsuya because there is a tremendous line wrapping around their rather small restaurant pretty much at all times.
Oh yeah, it hasn't been an issue for us since they started doing takeout.
Right.
But so aside from driving to go get it, that's the only barrier really. All right, good game for us. We got the W. All three of us survived. 4 kills between us. Good job.
Nice little 12, almost 1200 combined for me. Not bad, not bad.
Hey, Wrecker's checking in. How's it going, Wrecker? And he wants us to make sure we're hydrating.
I am indeed hydrating. I got a nice little cup of ice water here. It was Sprite, but I drank my Sprite, so I just refilled it.
Ominous says, I like me some Eurasian ramen. Thank goodness for Uber. So I have that on my Uber Eats option as well, but I don't think I've tried it. I'll give it a try, Ominous.
Interesting. Is it like a fusion ramen place?
Just a bit north of you, Ominous, I think. We probably have a lot of the same restaurant. All right.
So we want to keep running KV2s with Tragic, or are we going to swap over to something else? How are you feeling?
I'm going to pick a different tank, but I am going to stay at tier 6 with Tragic. I'm going to pick a different tank. We'll keep it Soviet themed though.
We're going to do tier 5 after this for the BDR. Okay. Sounds
Ramen
good.
noodles, sriracha sauce. Hey, Warp, how's it going? Ominous says really good, not the cheapest, but well worth it and well packaged. JB says this weather's a good time to try it. Yeah, definitely nice soup weather here in Austin right now. How's the weather where you are, folks? I know it's kind of a soft question, but it is always interesting to me. You never know. I didn't know that we had a storm season here in Austin from March to May until I moved here, but let me tell you, it's been storming all the time.
Yeah, the craziness from earlier seems to have passed by me at this point, so I was worried my power goes out sometimes in the storms, so but no, we are good. We're all good.
It says nice and sunny here in Norway. Finally getting that way, right? I have some friends who live up near Bodø, and I got to visit them in July a couple years ago and enjoy the almost 24-hour sun. It was amazing.
Doing good, Orb. Doing all right, man. The proper way to pronounce this map is Stujanki.
Best music in the game.
That's a jam. That's definitely
and we have some good
jam.
music in World of Tanks.
We are indeed still broadcasting from home, Wrecker. That's actually one of the reasons why there's a little bit of a difference in the lighting between us. It's hard to get everyone's settings all perfectly dialed in.
We're gonna try to start doing something from the studio here soon, though.
I
believe
looking forward to it.
We're all fully vaccinated now, I believe. I think I was the last one to get my second shot.
Yeah, I've been good since the beginning of the month. Hey, what's up, Prime Time?
I just call it the cool music map. Yeah, that's fine.
It's not incorrect. It's a fair assessment right there, dude. Oh, I regret that decision. I tremendously regret that decision. Well, I just got deleted. Time to hang out with chat. Now let's pop over to Cab here and spectate him. You always pronounce it as Stujanki. Yeah, that's the Polish way to call it.
And it is, of course, a Polish map.
It's, kind of, I've been to Poland. It kind of looks like rural Poland. Although presumably it's set in a different time period than I would have visited, but that's funny, Wrecker.
Oh, Artie's on me now. I'm not gonna be able to play this way. I can do one more. Okay. Tragic says she's not sure why chat doesn't work for some people, but it sounds like she's definitely getting some chatters. Record trying to kill the Rona with your pheromones. That's pretty good. Oh, Monty with the dad jokes.
Yeah, you could honestly, you could say that Poland is actually full of Poles.
Just nonstop. You could argue it's a whole land.
Save those dad jokes for the dad joke contest, says JMB John.
There you go. Oh wait, almost. Oh, chat, almost accidentally spent my first aid kit on a radio man.
if y'all haven't heard, the dad joke contest we're talking about is a contest that we're having on the forums and Discord. If you're on our Discord server, you can check the announcements channel. If you are on the forums, you can check the news and information subforum. We got the dad joke contest going. You can win some cool stuff like the new fan designed What's Next t-shirt, and as well as or wait, I might be wrong on that one. Don't quote me on that, but I know you can win the hilarious Daddy's Here Father's Day t-shirts that we have up on our WG store, among some other cool prizes. Thank you. Jamie John dropped the link in chat. Check that out, y'all.
Did you? And if you haven't, catch Jambi John on his Wednesday streams, Get Good with Jambi John, where he tries to become a better World of Tanks player and help you become one too.
Yeah, you might learn a thing or two. Play with Viewers bot is going. So you guys are welcome to join the Play with Viewers, the platoon queue, but we are not running viewer platoons today, just to keep things a little distinct. We run platoons on Tuesdays. We mix it up a little bit on Thursdays. Since for the regulars,
Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central.
Yeah, Tuesdays 4 p.m. Central to 6 p.m. Central run platoons. And then Thursdays, it's kind of our variety hour show, if you will. We've been doing some solo duo streams lately. I know we ran some Strongholds. Veterans. Strongholds are a good time.
Sometimes the Stronghold queue is unpredictable. So we might... I do want to do more Strongholds for sure. A lot of fun. I feel like my shells are going right through the guy. There we go. That one hit. I feel like they must have just been skying over the turret. Yeah, now I'm landing them.
Nice.
We've had a good game here. Good job by the folks on the south flank staying alive and keeping stuff spotted.
I threw my tank away at the beginning of the match to give the enemy team a false sense of security that we are now capitalizing on. It was a team effort.
Big brain strategy.
Those 200 IQ plays. I always joke about this. Damage received should also be a stat, because part of the time, like it's strategically, like if you're in something like a TOG, for example, you have more hit points to work with, so you can take some shots for your allies.
Yep. Wait. Oh, how did the Challenger hit me? Is there a gap in the wall?
Monty's clearing out the platoon queue. Thank you.
Rubbish pile there. Wow, that Challenger's doing work. Hammer says,
oh, sorry. You wanna take the question, or should I?
Go for it.
Okay, so yeah, Tank the Hammer says, will assisted damage ever be credited for destroying an EBR wheel, whether full or partial credit? Not that I know of, at least for doing the damage to the module. What potentially might happen, and this is purely speculation on my part, so don't go clipping this and saying Domo, you said this would happen, but
Clip it now.
It might be that you will receive assisted, at least what I would like to see is that you receive assisted damage for if you destroy one wheel, because currently how it's working is if you destroy all of the wheels on an EBR, then it's considered tracked and you get assisted damage for it. But if you just slow it down, it doesn't count. And I think even slowing down the EBR is like very helpful to the team. So by that logic, you should get some assisted damage for that. But that's the, that's my opinion, and I think what might be a more reasonable middle ground for that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, stuff should be weighted to how hard it is, right? That's the deal. That's why, for example, you get more experience for causing damage to a tank that's higher tier than you. So yeah, I think wheeled vehicles just should get a nice perk. Here we go, another good game from us. Well done, everyone. We're going to tier 5 now, so Tragic can show off the Mordian style for the BDR. I do want to let you guys know about a couple things we have going on. We had our May digest for WarSpot go live recently. If you're not aware, warspot.net is a historical content site that we at Wargaming operate and post lots of cool articles about tanks. This month we have articles on the Jagdpanzer 38T, widely known as the Hetzer. That's a favorite. Might want to check that out. We have the M3 Lee on the Eastern Front, the Panzer 6 Aus V, and the some good captured King Tiger content there. It looks like from the picture, and also a article on the updates to the IS-2 for the IS-2M. So worth checking that out over at warspot.net if you haven't and you are into such things.
Very cool. Very cool.
We also got OnTracks this month for June. We got we're for right now we're still sticking to the new OnTrack system. I have little birdies telling me that this could possibly change again in the future. But this month we have the AMX-50B, the E-50 Ausfem, and the STRV-103B. I think all those tanks are really fun in their own regard. The E-50M is a personal favorite of mine because ram kills. The 103B is a great stealthy mobile tank destroyer, and the AMX-50B is a situational but potentially devastating French autoloading heavy.
Yeah,
really brawl, really fun and brawl.
The 103B is one of my favorites, actually. It's, if not my favorite TD. Very, it can be difficult to play, especially on certain maps, but the accuracy and the penetration are incredible. And then gun depression is my favorite stat, so having the automatic suspension or the pneumatic hydraulic suspension with the siege mode is cool for me. I enjoy it a lot. You can get that thing into some like really cheeky spots and then use that gun depression to your advantage.
I used to like it a lot, and I still think it's really good, but at some point in my World of Tanks career, I realized that I just love having a turret. And I just don't play as well in tanks that don't have turrets.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I was really excited for the mediums, but I just, oh man, they're not quite as accurate, and then just Artie just absolutely wrecks them. Like getting hit for 1300 plus in that thing is not at all unheard of.
The gun on the 103B is incredible. The DPM, the penetration, amazing.
Like if you can catch like a mouse out in the open, and you could literally just farm his entire health bar down. What's up, Rogue? How you doing?
Magnus says, have you ever considered making events for the matchmaker to be preferential all weekend like on console? Yeah, we're always workshopping ideas with matchmaker. I don't know about a weekend event style thing, but we're always looking at potential changes.
Yeah, I think that would be actually kind of cool because always with like, especially like with common test stuff, right? Like you don't actually get a good feel for how stuff like that might impact the live server environment versus like a testing environment. So I think it would be a fun little experiment.
For PC, it would definitely have to be a client patch, which may make the doing it for a weekend event a lot.
Yeah,
but maybe a sandbox, that would be fun.
Exo says Uda's meds are just Artie farm. I'm getting farmed by Artie right now, so I'm the Artie farm.
Oh, there's the 25 TP. It is indeed the tier 5, unless they're both the tier 5 and the tier 6. No, because the tier 6 is.
Nope.
Oh,
it is. Yes, the tier 5.
Up the check line. I was like, wait, no, the Skoda is the tier 6. And I was like, no, that's the check line. But yeah, I used to have a really good grasp on all the tanks in the game, but at some point when we got over 600, it started becoming really hard. Druzil says, I really miss
Oh my
tank.
gosh.
Yes, I love tank. Same tier is what makes Frontline so fun. Agreed. Although a massive map is a bigger part of it. I really think that tanks thrives in situations where you can engage at longer ranges, because a lot of the armor becomes so much more relevant at longer ranges, because you can't be as pinpoint accurate with their shots. I just think it plays really.
I knew that was gonna happen, and I did it anyway.
The story of my life.
Poking an OI with 7 health left is not a good idea. Although he did get me with AP.
Rogue says, this game is so strategic, it seems. We certainly think so. For us, the appeal of World of Tanks, and kind of one of the selling points that it's had for a long time, is that it's a shooter game where everyone is moving a bit slower, which means it's more about outthinking your opponent and positioning yourself properly and paying attention to the map and heading to the right direction than it is about twitch skills.
Yeah, knowledge is very important. Like so much of the game is just becoming familiar with like the different tanks, and then like, okay, looking at the beginning, seeing what kind of tanks are on the enemy team, and then kind of making a decision as to where a good place to go to counterplay them would be. Doremo, I'm not sure. I don't think we host our map files in like a version that you would be a format that you would be able to use on. I should probably stop looking at my dead tank and look at an alive tank instead.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
Yeah, I'm not.
We can ask.
Your guess is as good as mine. But yeah, we could certainly ask. Maybe come by next time we stream, and we might have an answer for you.
I'm not sure. Bitwise says over 600 money in the game. CJ says 679. I think Cody has them all. I'm not sure of the exact number, but if that's what Cody has, I'm sure it's either it or as close to as he can get without breaking the rules. There are some tanks that are extremely limited or for whatever reason. But it's definitely over 600.
Well, this is not about Twitch skills while streaming on Twitch.
Hey.
They're different kinds of Twitch skills.
Hey.
It was like that. That Vine trend, where the one guy was like, "Yeah, I got skills," and he would like kick a soccer ball through like a 10-story window or something. Yeah.
Trying to bait this shot. Come on, hit the track. There you want it.
Why are people so hung up on this hot tub thing?
It's the meta right now. Hot tub meta.
It's so great.
Oh, okay, we hit each other. Where are these RDs?
What's up, Lethal? Hot tub takes. The only way I would consider doing a hot tub stream for World of Tanks is if I had a hot tub inside of a tank that I could stream from.
You know what? Maybe we'll reach out to some of our museum friends and see if we can make that happen. Oh, I tracked the bishop.
Oh man, I'm glad Cranky Monkey's not here, because he would quote me on that and be like, "All right, so when are we doing the hot tub Aquino stream?" Like, dang it, dude, I was joking.
Don't die, 25 TP. We need you. Oh, he's so close. Alright, I'm gonna try and watch his back here. I think there's gonna be someone. Nope, not there. Where's that church?
Honestly, like, I would push the cap. Because
Yeah,
the only person they have on defense is the RD. And it is going to take both the Churchill and the OI quite a while to get back to base.
I think you're totally right. I think the move is the cap.
And you've got the Girls in Panzer PZ4 Onco back there
Yep. Oh, the
defending Cap.
Churchills. The Churchills. I didn't know the Churchill was like a one shot though. I might have gone after him. Then again,
Well,
I'm a one shot to him. So
no cap, kill all. Famous line.
yeah, I should have kept pushing. Oh well.
I gotta
I think
remember
it was the safer strategic choice probably.
I always try to play for the W, you know.
The Panzer 4H and the SU did a really good job of getting up in that corner with the Panzer 4 spotting.
Yeah, and that spot that he's in too, he's got a bunch of bushes to use for concealment too.
So it says, love the M4. I'm going to be sad when the HE changes ruin it. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm cautiously optimistic. I know change can be scary. But
we were talking about this earlier. Yeah.
I think if you know, personally, like, I love my Death Star, I love my KV2, but if having slightly less one-shot memes in those means overall having a healthier state of the game, then I'm cool with it.
Also, we're not sure how it's going to play out. I know sometimes it seems obvious how stuff's going to play out, but
yeah, it's funny. Me, you, and Tragic were talking about just before the stream about how stuff seems one way in testing, and then it turns out to be another way on the live server. Your lighting change? Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna say your green screen was trying to eat your head for a second, but it seems to have resolved itself.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think, yeah, my monitor dimmed at the Q screen.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Bitwise says he loves the changes. You can actually side scrape and hold down now. Alpha, he's exciting for the changes. Thanks for the work we do, by the way. Hey, well, thank you for that. Those kinds of words. Kind. I can't English today. Thank you for those kind words. We work hard. I would say there are definitely people, in the organization that work a little harder, like the folks on the dev team who are in charge of balancing and all that. We get the fun stuff like hanging out with y'all.
People like to joke, but the devs work really hard. One thing that comes to mind, I remember just the sheer amount of hours that we put in trying to make the Halloween event happen in 2019. And as you probably know, it ended up getting canceled, and then we got the full version of it in 2020, and it was awesome. But yeah, that does put in a lot of work, a lot of hours. We don't always get it right, but it's not for lack of effort. I promise you that.
I'll tell you where there's a lack of effort on our north flank right now.
Yeah, looking a bit soft there.
Oh, thanks, T67. I didn't need my engine anyway.
South ain't looking too great either currently.
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of a base camp on this one. I can't push out to the city.
Look at how EBR. Yeah, well, that was what we were talking about. Money is I remember we had a couple of people who are really good World of Tanks players whose opinions we trust and still do. Like, we don't hold this against them. Who thought that removing the boost from the EBRs was really gonna like make them not as good, and honestly, that didn't happen. The EBRs turned out to be very good despite not having the boost.
I remember having so much like CC feedback and player feedback that was like, yeah, these things are going to be useless without the boost.
And then a lot of people, including people whose opinion we trust and have sensible opinions about the game, and you just, again, can't know how stuff's going to happen until it's live server, thought the Badger was going to be a super OP tank that changed the meta of the game. And it doesn't even in its role that people were scared of it in, the T110E3 is the dominant tank for that role. So I'm not saying people aren't right about it now. I'm also a little concerned about some of the changes. I think there's going to definitely need to be some fine tuning, but things have a habit of not working out exactly how people think they are. once they hit the live server. Exo says there are pros and cons. I don't think the HE should pen through skirts. That is a weird one. I understand why people find that weird. Like you have especially, we don't want to talk about the realism word, but the idea that this armor exists to help deal with HE, but then under the new mechanics, it doesn't. I understand that, we've talked about that before, but there was a real design change after the first iteration of the Mince map. But we're not going to concern ourselves with being perfectly historically accurate. In a lot of cases, we're going to try and focus on what's best for gameplay. People may disagree about whether it is or not, but that's the intent. Everyone universally agrees putting RD detection as a crew skill instead of just having it in the game setting super crappy.
Yeah, I saw feedback to that effect. I hear you. I especially on those higher skill crews, it takes a lot of effort to either grind out that additional skill, or you would have to potentially drop something valuable. So yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, who knows, that maybe that'll change at some point in the future. And then conversely, maybe it won't be as essential as we anticipate. Because I know from some contributors, like ZBest14, for example, he mentioned that like he thinks it's a good addition, but it's not that significant because depending on how far you are from the RD, the travel time on the shell might be so quick that even if you do hear it and react instantaneously with cat-like reflexes, you still can't get out of the way in time. So we'll see how it goes.
Trinity Shock on Twitch says the intent is to nerf RD out of existence. I've seen that one a few times too. I understand why there's RD mains who are concerned about how it's going to look. Really don't think that's the case. I think RD should be a little more excited about some of the new tools they're getting, and I think they're sleeping on some of those shell options and the gameplay options that's going to give you.
It's funny because some of the negative feedback that I saw about the RD changes was some folks were saying like, well, it's not necessarily a nerf, or it's not enough of a nerf. It's the new shell types that they're getting is arguably in a sense going to be a buff. So,
well, yeah, we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, like with the EBR, right? We're going to really find out on like the live servers, because that's going to be the best testing environment for those changes.
Look at those different shell types. Yeah, Hotwatt is the one to ask. Hotwatt, of course, being a epic RD main with an awesome RD sticker on the back of her truck that I saw on Twitter the other day. But I look, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect for sure, but like give those new shell types a try before you write the obituary for artillery. I think there's going to be some situations where RD can have a much bigger impact on the game than it does right now. No one will shoot AP you miss too easily. Yeah, until you hit the big. People say that, but until you hit with it. New AT is useless. The blast radius is too small. Why use it? Stun with large burst will be the only one used. Yeah, we'll see, Catapult. We'll see. You may be right.
It'll probably be more dominant on RD that is more accurate.
Very pessimistic angle, which is fine. But we'll see if that turns out to be true on the live server. Until you hit 1 of 20 shots, come on. Well, if you can hit 1 of 3, and that 3 changes the tide of the game, it's going to be a big deal. Also, some RD are a lot more accurate than others. Some shots are a lot easier to make than others.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I don't think 1 of 20 will necessarily be the ratio.
Is it one of the shell types going to have like a higher arc? So in that sense, Alt War, having that extra elevation from the shell would theoretically let you move up and fire from places you previously weren't able to fire from. I know it's not like, that's a poor comparison to what you were saying as far as making the maps bigger so that RD can move up without being spotted.
I personally am pro bigger maps.
Yeah, I
not even just for RD, just in general. I'm pro bigger.
Yeah, I agree. I think like it's funny because you see a lot of talk about corridor maps or whatever, or like for example fjords. When we redid fjords, there's like that big field and people call it the field of death because with the spotting mechanics and not having any hard cover in a field like that, it kind of effectively becomes an unplayable area. Like it gets played, but you don't see it played often because it's such a risky place to go. So having bigger maps so that you can have big open areas like that, and having draw distance be a limiting factor on where you can snipe from, might actually be kind of an interesting solution to that like mindset or what have you.
One shot on Twitch said, "Imagine having this debate and not just removing the class. Imagine playing a game for 10 years and thinking that the class that's been there the whole time is going to get removed." Frontline size maps on all stages would be great. I don't know about full frontline, but I mean, I like frontlines. I would take it. Alpha asked, "What do you guys take on possibly reducing the number already per game?" Well, if you haven't heard the dev response, we have a dev Q&A response on that topic. And the answer is that if we didn't have 3 already, or if we didn't have the limit of 3 already per game, then we wouldn't have variety. It would simply be every game would have 2 already. So we wouldn't have a game like this one where there's 1 already per side, and we wouldn't have many of the other games we got where there was no already per side. Personally, I think that variety is underrated by the player base in terms of things that bring flavor and good things to the game. So I personally would rather occasionally have to deal with 3 already than always have 2. And that is also the dev's reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would love to have my cake and eat it too, and have the limit of 2 artillery, but also have the variety of 0 to 1 arty games sometimes. But if it's, you know, if it's been tried and it's not possible, you know, I've got no reason not to believe them. They've made a pretty strong case about that being true, but you know.
So has a comment about maps. I understand frustration with maps. I think there's some stuff coming in 1.13x so that you're going to be pretty excited about.
I think that's in the article. Let me just double check so I can talk about it.
Hold on, let's see.
Power test 1.13.
Maps are 30.
Explore new maps and recon mission. Okay, so it has been announced. In 1.13, we're adding a new game, a queue. It's a new game mode, but it's the same game mode. It's just going to be a separate queue, and it's called Recon Mission. It's an experimental mode. I'll read from the article. In this experimental mode, you will be able to try out maps that are in the late stages of development. It'll become a collaboration platform where we work together with you to improve and refine new locales. So over the past year, if y'all have, you know, if you frequent the forums, you have probably seen Crazy Boop's super test posts about the, I want to say like 12 or 13 maps that are currently being worked on, including the Minsk redesign that has been like gone through like 8 iterations now. So I'm assuming that all of those maps that have been on Super Test, or at least most of them, if anyone was a particular disaster on Super Test, are going to be available for you to play in this new testing mode, and provide feedback. So maps are coming, and hopefully this will be a departure from, I know folks have kind of raised the concern or expressed the sentiment that like by the time something hits common test, you know, it's not really open for major revisions. So that would be kind of a step away from that previous cadence, and we would have, you know, this stuff introduced to y'all ahead of time before we implement it into the regular map rotation, so that we can make those kind of critical changes before you know, we open the floodgates and release the masses. KV2.
Dave 47 had a comment that I actually really loved, where he said you could lower the arty cap to 2 and occasionally seed 15 versus 15 arty matches. And
that would be great. Yes,
I actually really like that idea. That's actually a really creative way of, especially if there's maybe a special map for it. Or I don't know. Arty players may not like that much, but I think I would. I would probably play arty more if that was the case.
April Fools 2022. Arty only queue.
Dusty Pan says the reason the maps are so small, tanks are faster, make them like 30% larger. So there used to be some limits. I would say one of the big ones is just partially storage and load times, but obviously, as World of Tanks has existed, computer technology has progressed significantly, and the average gaming computer has improved significantly. So, along with that, as that has happened, we have introduced bigger maps. We've tried to introduce them in stuff like Grand Battles and Frontline, but those big maps have become possible because of advances. So, I do think as we move forward, you're going to continue to see bigger. The availability of bigger maps. Part of it is also the time of the games, but if the map is too huge, the matches can stretch on to an undesirable length. A lot of the parts of Watt's design that I think go underappreciated by the average person involve the choices made to make the queue time fast and the game's happen at a certain pace. And it's for me personally, it's something I really appreciate because I love that I can hop into Watt and play a game if I know I'm waiting 10 minutes for someone to get dressed to go out. You know what I mean? So the convenience factor is a big part of World of Tanks design. So I think it's a mixed bag. I personally do prefer bigger maps, but like I said, I understand why they're not just the default all the time.
Oh, why? Stalin, why did you not guide that shell? And tried to full speed snapshot and AMX. Oh, and now he's farming me. Great.
Yeah, with the new map box stuff, we'll hopefully be able to test a whole bunch of different kind of maps, and you guys will be able to give us some real solid feedback on what you'd like to see. I do think a lot of people love to I'm going to use my swear word for the day. I think a lot of people really like to shit on the map design, and I understand the impulse.
I'm on fire.
Because it's very easy to see the bad parts about map.
Worth it.
I do think, I wonder if a lot of those people who call our map design bad could really truly offer a better alternative, and I invite you to try. If you want to map out what you think would be a really good map, and you think our map design sucks, please. I can't promise you we'll make it into the game, but send us a concept. We'll show to the devs. I promise you they'll look at it.
No, again, it wasn't worth it. That's just what I'm telling myself to justify my horrible decision making at that point in time. Because if I kept driving forward, that AMX would just shoot me in the butt the whole way over.
Magnus says, why not just make an option to play with already in random battles? One of the many things that go into keeping the queue moving quickly. We wouldn't have that sort of feature that would divide people in the queue.
I'm gonna read out this big block from EXO because I think it's a good comment. The problem is that the map team needs a base level fundamental change. It's not just the look. The maps look great visually. It's the basic concept of how maps are even made. They need to stop the mindset of predetermined play locations. Just make an environment and let people figure it out on their own. Make them bigger. Give more cover terrain. Whoever made the Battle for Berlin maps was amazing. Those should be how maps are made. So I agree and disagree. Because yes, the maps are designed with certain locations in mind for certain classes, but that comes from a knowledge of how the game is played. And I've been through the ringer with enough games to know, including this one especially, to know that even if you give someone a sandbox, and you tell them to get through to the sandbox to the other side, they're going to find the most efficient way to do it. Example, I've been playing some World of Warcraft, and the World of Warcraft Classic is an entirely different game than World of Warcraft in 2004 or whenever it came out, because people have been playing on private servers for years and they figured out all the ways to completely min-max their experience. So I guess the point that I'm getting at is, even if I were to give you a big open sandbox with a bunch of, terrain features, etc., you would naturally gravitate towards the areas in the vehicles that perform better in those areas. So if there's a big open field with some spotted cover, but it's more open than a city, naturally something that's good at sniping or something that moves quickly is going to be is going to gravitate towards that area. And so even if you don't like, if you were to suspend all of your prior knowledge of the game and just make a map, I feel like you would still see those flanks or lanes or what have you developing. Not to say that our maps are perfect, but you know.
I do understand the comment about designing as if to say like, well, the light tanks will go here and the heavy tanks will go here, but I agree with Domo, and I think that's like, no matter how you design a map, the map is going to develop a meta that way. I can promise you there's plenty of maps that have had metas developed that we didn't expect at all. But I at the same time, I think there is some validity to sometimes there's a bit of checkmark design that goes into a map, and that sometimes it feels maybe forced. And hopefully Mapbox will give people an opportunity to show off some different styles or favor some different styles that they like.
Recon mission.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was the internal name.
Glad I tuned in today, learning a lot of good stuff that I had no idea about in terms of all the background stuff and adjusting to player feedback all the time. So thanks. Well, just to be fair, we do definitely look at all this all the time, but I'll be the first to tell you that we are relatively slow to change. Doesn't mean we won't consider it and won't do it, but I would be dishonest if I told you that we like balance the game every month. It happens on a much larger time scale. But we do pay attention to that all the time and track data on it all the time. Jazeel says perhaps rotate maps, keep a group of maps for a few months and rotate them out and new ones in. So we have done some stuff to make maps a little like stop appearing constantly for people. And for a while we stopped hearing that complaint. I am starting to hear it again, and I wonder if it's just because we haven't had the flow of new maps has been kind of slow. I think we had Berlin, we had Stujanki, Berlin, and Pearl River, right? Pretty decent. I will say I feel like I never see Pearl River personally. That might just be anecdotal.
I started seeing it more. I feel like I didn't see it for a while, and now it's been kind of popping up. It's just, you know, luck of the draw with the tier that you happen to be playing, etc. The KV1 again.
Hey, Deathman, how's it going? Perklin says mirror map and mirror opportunity maps are less than ideal. Mixed bag on that. Obviously, if you mirror map, it's easy to balance it relative to a map that isn't mirrored. But also, it's a little more boring than a good map that isn't mirrored. I think it's the only map that's perfectly mirrored Ghost Town. I think that's the only one that's perfectly mirrored, right?
Yeah, perfectly. I would say like Glacier is pretty close, but it's definitely not mirrored. Was there a new code today? No new code today.
But some of them are
back on Tuesday.
Close enough.
Although if you're pro tip, you didn't hear it from me, but if you want codes, you're definitely going to want to tune into What's Next tomorrow on our YouTube channel. And that's all I'll say. Also, you're going to want to tune in to this channel at 6 p.m. Central Time, so you can hang out with me, Commander AF, and Fix It and Post, our video editor. We're going to be interviewing him on Talking Tanks.
Coincidentally, that's because we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of our weekly show, What's Next, which will premiere the anniversary episode, which will premiere tomorrow at noon Central Time on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that. Our YouTube channel, if you don't know, is World of Tanks North America. If you haven't been watching Watt Weekly, I recommend it. A lot of good info there and some good opportunities to win stuff.
Yeah, they like to sneak Easter egg codes in a lot, so.
You can also win stuff by commenting, though.
True, yes.
A lot of cool opportunity.
Yeah, they just had a t-shirt design contest a little while ago. And the design that won that contest is going to be featured on our Amazon store.
Entirely hand-drawn, too. Really cool.
Ooh, awesome.
Will there be more reward tanks in BP5? feel like that's one of those questions that is either an obvious yes or I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure. Oh, great. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Great. No,
Tragic is probably
that's cool. I roll the KV2 for 100 and then for like 50, and he rolls me for 708. That's fair. That's what I get for firing HE, I guess.
Homo sapien chloride.
That's me.
Zaremo just got the Wiggly Watcher drop. Daramo? Sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Well,
Chen.
I guess honestly that was a learning experience for me, because now I know that if I'm fighting another KV2, I should just switch to AP. It's been a rough spell of games for me, chat. It's not been easy. Instant yeeted in the beginning of the past like 2 games.
Oh.
Doggo, it's just 6 people on YouTube chat. Well, you know, if you want to come hang out with us on Twitch, I was gonna say we have cool stuff like sound alerts and stuff.
We have a secret plot.
We don't actually have the cool stuff right now.
Our secret plot, Doggo, is that we steadily move people from YouTube to Twitch. YouTube is our secret funnel to Twitch. So, I recommend joining us.
Speaking of Twitch, something that we do have going on Twitch, which we just talked about, we have the weekly Watcher Twitch drops, which if you've been watching for a while, you know we used to have the weekly Watcher codes. But one of the issues with the codes is that they would get reposted the moment we shared them, and then folks that were watching the stream but didn't fill them out fast enough and weren't able to redeem the code when the codes were for the viewers of the stream. So now we have it going through Twitch drops. So if you watch on Twitch and you watch for an hour, you get a token that gives you a mission chain, and the more of those mission chains you complete in subsequent weeks during a given month, the better the rewards for those missions will be.
It's true.
Okay, so I personally am getting kind of bored of lower tiers. How are you feeling?
Split off? I'm fine to split off.
All right, let's
Sorry, Tragic, we're bailing.
Let's do some higher tiers. I want to play my leopard. Bye, Tragic.
Tragic says, "Okay, bye."
Oh, she left the platoon. Oh, okay. Well, I'm remaking the platoon anyway because I just left.
Watchman watches dropping the baboon. Hello, skill army, baboon army. Tomisel says, if you work at night normally, that is getting a bit rough. Tomisel, I feel for you. We do try and offer a reasonable spread of streams across a couple different hours. Unfortunately, the nature of our audience is that somebody's always going to miss out.
Yeah. Tuesdays are 4 to 6 Central, so maybe you can pop by for an hour of one of those. And then is Jambi also streams at 6, I think, on Wednesdays. But Chieftain and Crazy Boop stream interchangeably on Mondays at 4. So yeah, 4 or 6. I know 2 hours isn't really exactly a giant window, but you have a little bit of variation there.
What tier you want to play?
Well, I kind of want to play my leopard. Let's play tier 10.
Tier 10? Sure.
I'm gonna salvage my abysmal 10 battle win rate of 20%. Get something closer to an appropriate, adequate level of mediocrity, because 20% is not good enough.
I'm gonna live dangerously.
Ooh, bad chat.
Watchman watches is all you guys are fun to hang out with. What? Skill viewers, no offense to the rest of you, you're all great, but skill viewers are always the best. I feel like it's just, skill is such an engine of joy and rage that it just gets good people watching it.
No, I feel like part of the reason why Skill is so fun to watch is that he's just so genuinely like passionate, like, you know, and I just mean like always passionate about the game. I mean he's just like seems like a really fun dude to hang out with. Like I would love to grab a beer with Skill. I guess that's my swear because I'm not supposed to talk about. I would love to grab an adult beverage of some kind that is legal for consumption at a certain age, and I would never endorse on this stream. But yeah, no, Skill is great. I love Skill.
Exo says another thing that would be nice is randomized times a day, maybe weather maps, vision, heat vision effects, reducing vision. I personally really like this idea. Devs do have an answer on this topic as well, if you haven't heard it before, which is basically that's something they'd really like to do and really like to consider doing. It's just that other stuff has taken priority in terms of you know, what can we devote our time, money, and resources.
I can tell you guys that when I was in customer support, because I know console, I don't know if console still does this, but for a while there were dynamic weather effects that would reduce your view range, and I personally saw a lot of tickets from console players complaining about that. So I don't know. If it was like a purely cosmetics thing, I would be more for it. But I feel like if you have, you know, it's a snowstorm, like so
as long as it affects everyone equally, what do you have to complain? Fine. Well, I mean, you can not like it, but as long as it's not unbalanced, I feel like there's only so mad you can.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, well, you know, like say you're in a light tank and you're trying to finish your spotting mission, and then you get a stroke of bad luck, so you keep getting, you know, put on snowy maps where you can't see as far.
You're playing the wrong game if that's going to be the kind of thing that gets you mad, though. World of Tanks is not a game that you can try and force things on unless you're insanely good. Alpha says only so mad you underestimate WoT players. Well, yeah, that's probably true. CJ Tankmaster says, how's it fair that a tier 8 tank is matched with a tier 9 and I take 400 damage, she takes over 800 from me because he's one tier higher? Seems like different tier matchmaking, higher tier should take less than double what I can take. Any thoughts on how this is fair match? So fundamentally, this is what you're espousing right here, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I actually shared it in the past and still do in some cases. There's a very Western sensibility that everything should be equal in a match. And World of Tanks, Frank, it's a game designed by folks from Belarus, and one of the game design choices made in WoT is that you are going to be up against enemies that are just in better, higher quality, newer tanks than you. However, you will also be up against a equal or greater number of tanks that are the same or lower tier than you. For example, if you are in a tier 8 tank, very likely you're up like 10 tier 8s against and 5 tier 9s against 10 tier 8s and 5 tier 9s, or maybe 3 tier 10s, 5 tier 9s, and 7 tier 8s, whatever the bracket is. And choosing to engage your targets is a big part of the game, and you do get rewarded more and for penetrating and doing damage to targets that are higher level than you, and you get rewarded less for damaging and penetrating vehicles that are lower tier than you. So all of this is factored into the game design. So my answer is that you're right that it's not a fair match. The answer is you shouldn't engage a tier 9 in a fair fight. You should only engage a tier 9 when he's otherwise occupied or distracted, or you get his flank or your back or whatever. You're not intended to take on those vehicles, and that can be a really frustrating thing for a lot of people with Western perspectives, and I totally understand. But I encourage you to give it a shot and try and go in with the mentality of it's okay, or I am the underdog. How can I make a difference anyway? And you might be surprised at how, for me, example, I actually really enjoy being bottom tier now, because how much I can affect the game while being bottom tier has become a game in and of itself. My personal take.
But you also do get chat also chiming in to basically express that same sentiment. Dousty Pants XO also saying they like playing bottom tier because when they perform really well in bottom tier, you know, it's like that much more rewarding, both in the sense of the game rewards that you get, but also the personal sense of satisfaction of being the underdog. Like when you pull off the Kolobanov's medal, right? Like you feel like an absolute boss. And then another thing I wanted to mention, because there is a bit of a trap in that mentality, that is, I think, reinforced by the tier progression, is like a lot of people rush to tier 10 because they're chasing that dragon of like, well, at tier 10, like I'm finally going to be top tier, and there at least there's not going to be anything higher tier than me. But it's like it's such a fallacy, because like you get to top tier and then all of a sudden you're just getting wrecked so much harder than you were at tier 8, because everything else in the game is also tier 10.
Actually, with the new matchmaking rules, I see a lot more all tier 8 and all tier 10 matches than like I see it a lot. Like right now, we're in an all tier 10 match.
And yeah, you know, like my leopard is just as capable as your Pershing of being one-shotted by an FV 4005.
Or get clapped by a tier 8 in your tier 10. There's a lot of people who think that getting a tier 10 will make them not ever have to worry about tier 8s, and that's also not the case.
That was me in my Jagdpanzer E100. When I finally got to tier 10, I was like, oh yeah, I'm the big boy on campus. I got the big old cannon. Got the crazy armor. And no shot through the turret, you know, or well, shot through the upper chassis. Painful long reload. Poor accuracy. Like, yeah, you know, there's drawbacks to everything.
Oh, I really do. I mean, that's just to lay it out. World of Tanks is always going to have some fundamentally like difficult stuff to deal with. It's very much a game that rewards people who are willing to get through some pain and have to learn some knowledge and have to play carefully and we also get a bit lucky to maximize their success. And some people don't like that kind of game. It's more of a hardcore design mentality. But that's really where World of Tanks shines, is for people who don't mind that kind of challenge. And I encourage you to just try and maybe change your mindset a little bit and try and just maximize being bottom tier. You might, like me, be surprised at how much you actually end up enjoying it. And I see a lot of folks in chat feeling the same way.
Oh my gosh. I'm in a very bad spot. Time to run.
Tier 9 is the best tier in the game. Agree. That's my favorite as well. Trinity says, I played 200 games at tier 8 recently without a lower tier matchup. Did you really? That's mathematically unlikely, but possible. Thanks for your answers. They're appreciated. Hey, well, hopefully we can help you find some solutions, or at least explain some stuff that I know doesn't seem to make a lot of sense from the get-go. Because I'm right there with you. Like I said, when I first started playing World of Tanks, I had the exact same issue, and it really it didn't occur to me, and this wasn't just like a working for wargaming thing. This is before I started working for wargaming that I had this epiphany. But like, once I changed my mindset about what fair is and what my goal in the game was, is when I really started to enjoy World of Tanks a lot. And it really is a game where you have to climb the mountain and suffer pain to grasp joy from the jaws of defeat.
I mean, like I was saying earlier too about, you know, like if the game, when we were talking about the game being strategic, I mean, it is strategic also in the sense of like, you know, so much of game knowledge comes from just having that knowledge beaten into your face by big scary tanks on the enemy team. Like, you know, I'll have like a really bad matchup and just get completely wrecked by somebody, and I'm like, okay, you know, next time I see that tank and I'm driving this tank, I'm gonna think twice about doing the exact same thing there.
A Richard wants to know what on track means. You want to help him out?
Yeah, so the on track event, let me pull up the tech tree. So I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh, there I have these nice little percentage marks. So if you
E50 S FAM in the 103B.
So we've got basically it's even, you get this nice little tooltip that says on track until July 1st. Excuse me, I need to burp. Essentially the vehicles going up that line are all discounted, and effectively it's a way for you to kind of rush up a line if you feel so inclined, or at least make as much progress on a particular line, or I guess a series of lines, because we've got the 103B, the AMX 50B, and then what did you say the other one was?
The STRV 103B.
Besides that, the AMX, the STRV, and there was one more.
The E50M. Sorry,
The E50M. Yeah. So if you see like going up the line, my VK, my Panther, Panther 2, E50, E50M, they've got discounts on them. So the E50M at tier 10 is discounted 15% off of the credit price. Tier 9 also 15%. Or did we change that recently? No. Okay, yeah. So then tier 6 and 7 are 30%, and I believe the discounts going lower are a little bit more substantial as well. Hard for me to actually check because I have so many tanks researched and the discount doesn't show if I already own it.
He says first you have to get a tank in that line and start working up the line. Correct.
Yes.
And then you get different bonuses depending on which tier you're at and which ones you complete. I rated up in a tier 9.
Cannon said discounts. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's right. With the recent changes to the OnTracks system. Oh, whoops! I just minimized my game. The recent changes to the OnTracks system, right? It starts at tier 6 now, but there's 3 different lines that are on track. Okay, you said tier 9.
Homeschool Dropout said, why did you change it from 30 to 15%? So we've gotten this feedback a lot. We've shared it. It's possible that it'll change again in the future. The idea was we would lower the bonus, but increase the amount of trees available. So the bonus changed because we now have 3 on tracks. Kind of seems like most people preferred it the old way, but we'll see. That is the current reasoning behind the change. Exo says, out of all the tanks on track right now, I would recommend the E50 for a new player, but only go to tier 9 since it's better than tier 10. I think that is very good advice. The E50 at tier 9 is a spectacular tank. The E50M can be a lot of fun, but the E50 is like, it's just a great blend of acceptable mobility, good armor, good gun. You can still ram people for a lot of damage and fun. That's a really good tank. I've got my gingerbread Object 257. You rolling in the T49 with the derp, I presume? Of course. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to be heading to the south.
And I've got my sweet Revenant skin from Masahiro Ito, the art director from the Silent Hill franchise.
I sure likes barbed wire. I wonder if it became like you just at some point you become the barbed wire guy and all your designs have to be barbed wire, or if he just really likes barbed wire. Then
I don't know. Maybe he's just really known for Pyramid Head, so that's kind of what he was going for.
Yeah. Catmac, can I recruit you to my clan? I will train you myself. So I've kind of decided that I don't really want to join a clan. I might do it in the future, but I don't know. I just don't know if I'll have the time to commit to playing with folks in a clan wars or anything. So I don't know if I want to take up a spot. But if I do, I will hit you up for sure. I'd love some training time.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat. Like, I initially was really excited about doing clan wars, and then I was like, oh man, this sounds like a lot of time. And I don't know. There is the, you know, I've definitely been playing more tanks lately, but at a certain point I was like, oh man, this just feels like work. Which, you know, if you're playing something so much that it feels like work, then definitely take a break, you know.
Yeah, it depends on how it shakes out. I will say though, clan play is a sort of social gameplay that is really enjoyable when it's you know, done properly. No one's power tripping or anything. So I don't know. If you're ever wondering if you like playing clan modes and stuff, I encourage you to try for sure.
100%. It's an entirely different beast than random battles.
15 tanks, actually. Well, it's funny you say that, but then you listen to like Cracks calling during a match, and you're like, oh, it's actually just as chaotic. They're all just really good. But when people are listening to the caller, it can get pretty interesting. What is Clan Wars?
Oh my gosh!
What happened?
Got hit by Artie for over 1,000 damage.
Oh no! Yeah, that's a big oof.
Oh my gosh, I got all kinds of friends down here. Now I'm a dead man.
Or Domo. Yeah, sorry. I probably could have pushed around this corner to help you, but I didn't know if there's anybody further south. I was scared.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, there's that grill that you would have had to deal with.
Well, he'd be dead now, though. He's actually going to be dead here very shortly. Oh, there were people further south. There they are. We got a Kunzpanzer and a Charferture.
Couple of reward tank boys.
Oh, some interesting turn fighting going on here up close. All right, so I can't hit the Charferture.
Did that guy just get conquered, G-Steed?
Yeah, he just got deleted. 828 damage.
Is it better to work up multiple crews on multiple tanks or focus on one per type of tank, i.e. light, medium, heavy? Well, there isn't a right answer to that question, and in my opinion, it kind of depends on how you want to play. So personally, when I first started playing back in 2012, I decided I want to play German TDs, and that is all I did. I literally, like, I didn't even have premium tanks or anything, so I would just sit there, wait for the battle to end, and then queue back up in my Hetzer. I don't think that's necessarily the best way to do it because, again, so much of this game is learning the different limitations of the different tanks you're going to be seeing in battle. So in that sense, I think you get that knowledge faster if you're trying out a bunch of different lines and play styles at the same time.
Yeah, I did the same thing, but with not. I did only American mediums and British mediums, the two. I would swap back and forth. But I focused on mediums with gun depression was my goal. And it's a mixed bag. I think when you're first starting out, it is really good to try and stick to one tree and then branch out. You definitely want to branch out to different types eventually. But I would for sure like at least do 2 trees just so you can swap back and forth and try and grind more efficiently when you're in your full grind mode. Almost got that scorpion. Did I get spotted? Not sure if spotted.
Bitwise says 3 to 4 skills is enough, but if you want to get more gun makes, more skill really helps. E. Jackson, I say I'll learn all 5 classes, so in the long run, you know how each class works. But start easy with just one. Yeah, I think, you know, if you're just learning the core mechanics of the game, then learn the core mechanics of the game. But if you have since learned the core mechanics of the game and you decide that this is something you want to spend more time on, then yeah, I'd say check out multiple lines. Because you do have, there's this I don't know if confirmation bias is the right word, but this experience is pretty typical in a lot of competitive games where you run into something, then you're just like, dude, I'm helpless. I can do nothing. Like I don't know what I'm doing here. This is horrible. This is miserable. And you just throw your hands up and you're like, cool. And then you play that thing, right? For example, the OI at tier 5 is amazing, absolutely incredible in in close brawls, city maps, etc. But if you have to drive that thing across a big open field, Artie's gonna wreck you. You're gonna get crossfired. Like, there are all these negatives that you don't experience when you are getting completely stomped by someone in something because you're not in their shoes and you don't know what they get stopped by.
I cannot believe I hit the track of that. That's the GW 100 for you, though. Sometimes it just takes shots that other RDs wouldn't.
Avenge me. Get him.
Just gonna try and only show hull so that I can.
Swedish tanks are solid overall, though the bad tanks are really tough. Yeah, there are some tanks in the Swedish TD line that I would say skip if you have the free XP to skip them, because
I would save the free XP for skipping stock grinds if you can.
That's true. That's true.
Because I will say the most painful thing in WoT, and just to be straight up, if you can avoid the tier 8 and the tier 9 stock grinds, do it. That is where if you're going to spend any money on this game, and you're like a new player and you're not sure what to spend, get like one really good tier 8 premium you love to play, and then save it for free XP for avoiding those tier 8 and tier 9 grinds. That is the best value for money, in my opinion. Because especially some of those tier 9 grinds are brutal. The stock E50 grind, oof. You're so slow. Oh, don't. Okay, he's AFK. It looks like.
Hugh Jackson, I tend to encourage new players to play U.S. and Soviet tanks. I agree, although I would say that there, when I started playing, like everybody saying Russian bias was definitely already a thing. So they gave me this false sense of I'm going to be invincible once I play Russian heavies, and that is not at all the case. So I do agree completely, though, on the U.S. tanks specifically, and I've been saying this for a while. I think that the U.S. medium line is an absolutely amazing line for beginners to start on, because you have so many like really fun, really solid tanks in that line, and even the tanks that aren't really solid, they all teach you really good gameplay habits.
And different stuff too. They play different. Tier 5 is a fairly mobile but kind of tall dirt machine. Tier 6 is a flanker with a really high DPM gun that fires fast. Tier 7 is actually a TD with a turret. Real slower reload, but you can do amazing stuff with the mobility and the alpha damage. The Tier 8 is like an okay all-arounder that can do a little bit of everything. The Tier 9 is a really good all-arounder that can do a little bit of everything. And the best part is they all have a fair amount of mobility and a fair amount of gun depression. And that's the one reason I would recommend it maybe over the Russian heavies for a new player, is because sometimes not having gun depression for a new player can be really rough on you if you don't know how to use or like how to if you don't know the maps yet. You're going to get punished a lot less if you have gun depression. That'll help you shoot.
I will sing praises for the T20 from the rooftops until I die, because the T20, like you said, it's like if it plays like a TD, but that slower aim time and the combination of having the really squishy turret plus the really good gun depression, it motivates you to find ridge lines that you can snipe / peekaboo brawl from. And I think that like getting into that mentality of finding good positions that you can use for hard cover is going to help you tremendously in the long run. Because even without the gun depression, you already be kind of in the mindset of like, okay, I need to like, I'm better off using hard cover than I am relying on my armor. Which I think if you have a really heavily armored tank, you fall into this mindset of like, I'm invincible. I have all this armor that I can rely on. When relying on armor is always inferior to relying on cover.
Yeah. I don't think it happens with like any tank anymore, except maybe like the T110 E3. The pens are at a point now where I feel like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like you may think that going into a tank, but once you play it, you won't feel that way. By the way, I did 4,500 damage that game and got a high caliber, which would have been impressive if our CGC didn't do 4,100 damage, which is amazing for an RP. Oh gosh, the guy brought ruination to the enemy team.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the victory rate is looking not bad, but the rest of my session stats are not looking too hot.
I've had a pretty good evening so far. That game was a monster game. 60 Kid says
potato.
The T20 is bad. I'm terrible in it. The T20, you got to play the T20 like you would the Challenger, kind of. That's how I think of it.
The T20 is amazing. Great tank.
You want to really try and maximize the distance between the spotting distance and the draw distance. And I play it like a tank destroyer. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite tanks, actually. You can't get into straight up fights with it. It doesn't have the DPM or the armor to do that. But what it does have is mobility and a gun with good alpha. And with those two things, you can have a lot of fun in World of Tanks. Almost all my favorite tanks have those two.
Yeah, I would say the big downside about the US medium grind is that the Pershing is just kind of So
Pershing needs a buff.
Yeah.
For a while, it was kind of just like the lukewarm, decent tank, and then I think it's been crept a little bit. It's a little bit not that great at anything now, instead of being okay at everything.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I did skip the Pershing because, I mean, as y'all can see, I'm fabulously wealthy in the world of tanks. Thank you, Wargaming, Uncle Victor. I appreciate it. But yeah, like it's not very comfy to play, especially because you're seeing a lot of tier 10s, and then the tier 8 is when the grind really picks up.
So I don't want to give you equipment advice just because I haven't played a lot of the T20 since Equipment 2.0, so I'm not sure what the optimal is. That somebody in chat has a great equipment loadout record. But I would definitely consider putting coated optics on it.
I feel like Rammer.
If you're going to put binocs on anything, you're going to be trying to be really mobile in, which I feel like
you need a rammer and you need a vertical stabilizer.
Yeah, rammer's a given.
The V-stab is also pretty much mandatory on it because the aim time is rough. And then for your third choice, that one's kind of a toss-up. Either vents, improved rotation mechanism, or improved aiming, or optics. I think optics would be a pretty safe choice because you're absolutely right insofar as you want to keep them just at the edge of your spotting distance, so you can outspot them, and it has good view range. So I think you can max out the view range on the T20 with optics.
I still get
do you want to pick a tank? Should I pick a tank?
That's your turn, yeah.
Okay, let's do tier 8.
I still get good games out of the Pershing. I won't claim it's easy. That's part of the appeal. See my comments T20. Yeah, it's not that the Pershing is like terrible. It's just that compared to its competitors, it's fallen off a bit, I think, and could probably use a little love.
Yeah,
you can still play the Pershing really well. I feel like you can't do as much of the all-rounding as you used to be. You kind of have to play it as like a secondary ridge flanker. You want to like be able to use the gun depression and shoot at stuff that's not paying attention, which is not necessarily the funnest or easiest role to play because it can be kind of hard to find those spots and those moments to do damage in those kind of tanks. So it's not bad. It'll still. I think the thing that we're talking about is the American TDs or the American mediums will teach you a lot about World of Tanks because of the way that they play, and I think that the Pershing falls into that still. But really, it's worth it because when you get to the M46 is a great tank, and it's so worth it to get to the M46.
Yeah, you don't get the same like oomph out of the Pershing gun that you do out of the T20's gun tier for tier. For me, seeing those big chunks of health go away is a
M46 really starts slapping stuff pretty hard.
Yeah. M46 is amazing.
I really love it. It's my favorite tech tree tank for sure.
Oh, I'm the guy. Sorry.
I did get I did alt F. That was the tank I was in when I alt F4'd last night after getting RD'd because I wasn't moving. Pershing Prime is a good tank to me. Which one you rocking there? KR Pad or the M46? M46 got some buffs coming. I did.
Wait, the M46 is getting some buffs? Oh, you mean the KR?
The KR.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that one needs some love, so I'm excited about that.
Nothing world changing, but some nice quality of life stuff. There was one on the super test a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Jackson said I put a turbo on my jumbo. It worked out great. Made her into a proper medium again with better armor. The turbo, the one thing I love about Equipment 2.0, and we had a lot of skepticism going into it, and there still aren't people who love it, but I love how many tanks that it sort of like revolutionized. Now we have people like who are running like turboed, really slow tank destroyers and stuff all the time. I think that's really fun. The jumbo I think is a perfect candidate for it. The super Pershing is also great with the turbo. I love seeing those tanks get a little bit more flavor and opportunity thanks to the
if y'all have seen the Quickie Babies video on the Udez 03 with turbo. It works while the Swedish TDs are in siege mode.
Because you can just yeet out of a place, right?
Yeah, well, no, not really that you can yeet while they're in siege, because you're still comparably slower, but because your movement speed is so much slower, the percentage bonus that you get is much more significant.
Got it. I was thinking I was thinking like you know how the Swedish TDs are really good at reversing not in siege mode. That once you switch out of siege mode, you could just reverse and get out of there really
Oh
quickly.
yeah, I'm sure it's quite zippy too. But yeah, his main
Well, why are
thing
you
was that
blocking me?
it makes it very comfy in siege mode. Somebody
Oh
was
man,
asking how we
oh, sorry.
like the frying panzer, the KPZ-07RH, and I
I
think
love it.
that
I'm playing it right now.
I think that's a good example of the drawbacks to that tank, and that is
well, let me explain what happened.
okay.
So the Brask, or the sorry, not the Brask, the fry pans are really mobile, really good DPM, shell velocity kind of iffy, accuracy. Yeah. But the high DPM really fast. I like it a lot. What is not good is when you get body blocked by a teammate while trying to back up out of 3 enemy tanks looking at you,
Oh
and they all
yeah.
shoot you at the same time.
Okay, fair. That'll happen. But what I was gonna say is it has 1,800 hit points, which no, it's like 1,300 hit points, isn't it?
It has no 1350, and it has no
1,350.
armor.
Yeah. So you get hit twice, and it hurts. Like when I first played it, I had a really good game, and I was like, oh my god, this thing is super fast. It has monster DPM. Like I can out DPM. I feel like everything that I run into. And then I traded shots with the Type 59. He hit me twice, and I had like barely any health left. And I was like, okay, so there is a limitation to this tank, and that you can't trade.
There's always a downside. There's no perfect tanks.
But it is very zippy, and it has what feels like monster DPM. Yeah, it was the honeymoon time exactly. Till I started losing. But it's cool. I like it a lot. I really enjoy the tank.
Yes, I'm not sure what you're on about, but the char for chair is a reward tank, not a premium tank. I understand that sometimes they look the same with the gold, but they're different.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, this match is going real bad. Drops for the weekly watcher are NA only. Usually when we do a big event drops, we make a multi-regional, but specifically the ones for watching the stream.
I thought I had enough to clip him out. Well, I mean, he's shooting HE, so maybe that will be my saving. I don't know what this dude's doing.
73. What? How did you survive?
He didn't switch to AP. I don't know.
I know. I saw him shoot you for 73 damage. That was amazing.
I'll take it.
I thought you were going to be easy to pin because
yeah.
I would
think
never...
after he bounced there, he didn't pen like the 4th time he would switch to AP, you know?
Personally, for the lower caliber guns, I don't even bring HE.
Yeah.
I'll bring HE if I have a larger caliber gun and I know I can do some decent with it if it goes, but for a gun like the Fry Panzer, I might bring like a couple to shoot.
I was
not more than
say,
a small handful.
Bring at least 2 for a reset, but that's it.
Oh.
I mean, I honestly shouldn't have pushed, but I was just trying to shoot something one more time before I die.
Exo said, tanks with extremely low alpha can feel like you work your ass off all game, and at the end you're disappointed with the end result. That is true. Sometimes it's also insane the numbers you can put up, but you do have to kind of get the right, you have to find the super heavy pushing across the road in front of you while you're behind a bush, and then you can do insane amounts of damage. But for most people's play styles and just the way that WOT goes as a whole, alpha tends to be a little bit stronger than DPM. The game is balanced that way, though. Alpha is comes with a lot of drawbacks usually. For example, like the Chinese tanks had an alpha advantage for a long time, and the drawback, of course, being the accuracy and the penetration. So it's a mixed bag, but generally, if you can get a tank that reliably does good alpha, and then you can peek a boom and come back when you're reloaded, that playstyle tends to work better. It is a little bit easier to do than to maximize high DPM, low alpha gun, in my experience. Jazil says, explain what low alpha is. So when we say low alpha, what we mean is that the gun on a tank does relatively low damage for its tier. Usually what a
per shot damage.
Per shot damage. So a tank with a low alpha gun will tend to be more accurate, will tend to reload faster, and will tend to have higher penetration, but at the expense of the damage per shot.
High alpha damage tanks have that the little the wow factor, if you will, of being really scary, and they act as a deterrent. Like,
Yeah, the first time you get 1100 by a FE 4005 was a time that you will remember.
and so, you know, like a T95 parked at the end of a lane, just being there and stopping people from pushing is just as important as it actually shooting.
Smoke said, general thoughts on the HE change. Everything I've heard seems to make less worth arming. My opinion right now is I understand why people feel that way, but I'm gonna hold out till we see what happens on the live server before I settle down into anything. I'm more curious about the RD changes too, just because I feel like that's a more radical thing. But I'm really interested to see how the HE stuff breaks down in real battles. Jackson says drives around corner Death Star. Oh, shit, around. Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in like I the logic behind the HE changes sound like makes sense to me. I haven't played very much of it on common
with the
test.
exception of for me, that's with the exception of the spaced armor stuff. That is,
yeah.
I do understand why people are a little like, what with that? But like I said, I want to see how it plays out on the live server.
Yeah, it sucks that like there's no armor crushing mechanic. I think that would be really interesting. So like maybe if you hit a screen with an HE shell, it breaks the screen, and then you hit him in generally the same location, and then it penetrates. Like that might be a reasonable middle ground. Oh, cool! I just hurt myself for 400 damage driving off of that hill. Sweet.
Roxboy says which one of the 220, 90, or 105? Whichever the one further up the tree is. I think it's the 90, right? That is the 105 on that one, just the derp that's on all the mediums. I would definitely. I'm almost sure it's the 90, but I have to check the tech tree to be sure.
Whichever the top gun. That's what you want. You want the top gun.
Whatever the top gun is.
Do you approve of the JP2? This was my first tier 8. Got this boy back in 2013.
Dude, JP2 is amazing. The JP1 too. JP1 is a slept-on tank. Go look at Junker's stats on the JP1 and tell me the tank isn't OP.
Arguably, like
one of the two is OP.
Tier for tier, I'd say that the tier 7 is honestly better.
It is, yeah.
I have a long relationship with this tank. That you know there have been highs and lows. I don't know when it was, but at some point the engine was changed so that it received a higher top speed, but it didn't have as much acceleration. And I enjoyed being able to kind of do peekaboo around corners and like harass my heavy tanks on city maps where I didn't really have a good place to snipe. And I missed that. And then the Scorpion came out, and like I always complain about the Scorpion because I feel like it fits the exact same role as the JP2. It has exactly the same gun, but it gets a turret. And I'm jelly. I want a turret in my JP2.
You know who else loves the JP2 is Llama. Llama loves to play super aggressively in that tank, and it's so much fun to like. I'll be like holding somebody on a rock corner in a heavy, and then just Llama like YOLOs up the side flank. That thing actually really, in certain situations, you can play it like an assault gun, as it's so aptly named.
You just hear the theme song from Knight Rider playing, and then Llama comes zooming around the corner in his German TD.
Yeah, something like that. PDX says, nice work bouncing my AE gold round off the flat side of an IS-32. No, really, you lost me another match with a fake mount. Well, if it really bounced like a fake mount. Before you decide to ammo rack my tank with taking attack shots, sounds great. I got a tracker of my commander. I think you're tilted a little bit now, but it happens. Tanks more than most games. But yeah, random stuff will sometimes, bad stuff will sometimes happen, and sometimes even in a row. That's the nature of rolling a dice. However, I promise you, you get runs of good luck too. You're just less likely to notice them.
You already reloaded? Sorry.
Feels like you deserve it.
My next ASMR stream? Never. Might do a DJ stream on my channel at some point soon, though. Wanting to mix some music.
Dude, oh, behind. Oh, come on. Let me get this shot in. Oh, he got my loader and I didn't notice in time.
Chock full of terrible decisions tonight, aren't I?
Then when I push the button that made my UI go away, okay, there we go. I found it.
I forget. Is it V?
Yeah, I think it was.
It's
it was
V.
Scary. Oh wait, I still have a ton of hit points. I still push hard.
I see 122Us. The better hang back, wait for them to fire the roll out and slap them hard.
Okay, now my mini map's still missing.
The ISU 122 definitely has the alpha on the JP, but the JP I feel like has a little bit better accuracy. The reload might be a little bit quicker too. I don't remember.
Now's the time where we play
PDX commuter. I can show you after this match. I'll show you in the garage real quick what the collector's tanks mean. Basically, I believe it was last year. I could be wrong. Could have been 2 years ago. I think it was last year. We retired some tanks off. Yeah, thank you, Jackson. We retired some tanks off of the tech tree and we moved them to a separate tab. So you don't have to research those tanks. You just need to have a tank of the same nation and tier as the tank that you're trying to buy in order to buy it, and then you can buy it with credits from the collector's tab on the tech tree.
Oh, okay. Yep, had a monster game though. That's a bummer. I could have played that last bit a bit better, but I did do 4K damage, so okay.
Is there a difference between special equipment for bonds and the equipment that we can pick in Battle Pass? I don't remember off of the top of my head which way it goes. I believe the Battle Pass stuff might be like 1% better. I know that at a certain point it was. I don't know if that's changed.
Jackson says Renegade looks like a good tier tank. I personally love it. Some people think that the cupola makes it a bit weak. Like a lot of the American tanks, you learn to jiggle, and sometimes you take a shot to the cupola. It happens. But main thing is just keep it moving so nobody gets a free shot on it. Jimby added bounty you have to upgrade with credits.
Yeah, and Iron Maiden says Bond's equipment is 1% better. I think that's the case. I think the Bond's equipment is ever so slightly better than the Battle Pass equipment after that Battle Pass equipment is upgraded with credits.
Hello, the Rube.
What's up, Rube? How you doing?
From Mother Russia said, I hear that justification. You'll get runs of good luck. I don't necessarily agree. If I always fully aim my shots and take the time to shoot at weak points, RNG can only negatively impact my shots. There is no opportunity for RNG to benefit my shooting. Well, I would argue that all the times that RNG doesn't negatively impact your shots, it's going in your favor, right? I guess that's a matter of...
There have been times, although that again, like that's not fitting the conditionals of what you said, because if you fully aim your shots, etc. But there have definitely been times where I whiff my shot, but then RNG throws it into what I was trying to hit. Not always, not often.
Or you take a shot that really just shouldn't hit, but does. Like sometimes I'll wing one while moving at full speed in the M4. Yeah, T. Jackson says RNG give us an RNG taketh away. A really good positioning here by who's this? Katsun Nip and the Leopard 1 did an amazing job of seeing where the enemies were coming from, hiding behind the bush so that when they came around the corner, he'd get a free shot, and then he got the kill shot and got out. Really great play. Really great play.
Not gonna lie, I just went back to garage, so I'm not sure if everybody saw that.
Oh, bummer. He might hold on. I can't leave now because if he gets the shot, he's actually nope. He lost. It was a really great effort.
I saw the cards and I didn't have faith. Maybe if I stayed behind and we all sent him good vibes, he could have won that.
You just needed more good vibes.
How are we doing on time? We got 5 minutes. We got time for one more. Let's do a quick one.
Yeah, let's do it. Someone as me says the KV2 is famous for missing what you're aiming at and hitting what you're not aiming at. The best feeling when playing a high alpha tank or derp tank like the KV2R is when you shoot at something, you miss horrendously and then hit an invisible tank and one hit it. That is the funniest thing that can happen in World of Tanks.
Oh wait, this is the wrong Swedish tank. Hold on.
Well, or when you bounce off a tank and then that bounce shot blows up another tank with an ammo rack, and then the turret of the blown up tank flies on top of the tank that you bounced off of and kills that one. I've also seen that happen. And one of the many amazing magical moments possible through the powers of RNG. Bust out the STRV, huh?
I haven't played it in a while. We were talking about it earlier.
Plus,
I've got this sweet Lebwa team camo on it in the blue and yellow. That's
I'm gonna play another tank we talked about earlier.
I love the 60 TP.
RNG very obvious and already full aim shots missed out. No missed instead. Got some questions about the Liberator store coins. I am not up to date on them. You are.
Homefront supplies. It doesn't. It sounds like something I should know about. Hold on, I need to. Oh. Okay, you know what this is? It's for the D-Day event. So if we go to the tab, okay, so for the D-Day missions, you get Enigma coin or Liberation coins for the Enigma intercepts missions. And then in the Liberator store, you could buy the Overlord 2D style, American Assault 2D style, French Assault, British Assault, bunch of equipment and stuff. So answer your question. You are earning Liberator store coins via the D-Day mission chains.
Armorgird says, I know you touched on this a bit earlier, but can you explain the transferring your crews to other tanks? Be best to do that back on the Grodd. And then someone mentioned that we forgot to show the retired tanks. We'll do both of those things after this game.
Yeah, that occurred to me as I heard the music playing, but I was hoping, you noticed.
Donnie Schnauzer says, I took a break from the game for a while. Did the crew we work get scrapped? Almost no one liked it. Did get sent back to the drawing board, and I believe we have another Crew 2.0 sandbox coming up in the future. So a new version of the crew changes, I believe, is coming to be tested.
I think, I haven't heard anything, but I know currently the only shells that are being reworked in 1.13 are AG. So there's also, potential for further work to be done on shells in the future. I actually don't know where to play Sneaky Boy TDs on this map.
I don't either, but I need more friends on the right side in the city. Or for people to get really aggressive in the field. Either of those would be acceptable.
I would, but there's 2 Artie on the enemy team.
Oh, what? How is he remaining? How are they unspotted? What? Where is he shooting me from? Oh man, I just got wrecked.
I'll bite. I'll take the bait here.
AMX 50B just really good ambush play.
To grab some cover before that though.
Yeah, we're getting roughed up here.
Okay. YOLO. Let's do it. Scouting in the sturf.
This is a really bizarre and aggressive play on this map, but I'm enjoying it. That is another FV-250. That's a Death Star. That is a full-blown Death Star.
Two.
Lady May's here. Brand new Twitch partner, Lady May US, by the way. Check out Lady May on the Twitch. What did it hit?
Man,
Oh,
you really don't see this kind of deployment on this map very often.
No, this is a very bizarre spread for this game. I like it though. I like the weirdness.
We're going the
And
distance.
We're winning right now.
We're going for speed. Just trying to kind of lurk here and get called out.
I like the cake reference.
It's a good song. It's a good band.
Haha, my angle. I love when my armor angling works. It makes me feel like I'm so smart. All right, here we go. Oh no, Death Star. No, it didn't.
I gotta say, you don't see it as much nowadays in like the IS-3, but when you get those clutch plays going with the pike, where you can bait people to shoot the far side of the pike and scrape off, like, oh, it just feels so good.
It is. That's really good. Hello, AMX50B. Time for my 777 damage revenge shot. I love the alpha on this tank.
Ramming speed! Oh, this is kind of underwhelming, but take it. It would behoove you to get out of siege mode, my friend. Oh, wait. No, hold on. Wait, let's talk about this for a second. No. No. Somebody, like, cue up the Benny Hill theme. Oh, man, this was a bad decision.
And finish. Oh, dang it. I was
this
just
T100 and this EBR are just farming and farming and farming.
I lost the AMX50B. There we go. Okay. All right, so we still have an EBR and an Artie left. Ooh, there's another light that hasn't been spotted, a T100. How is there a T100 that hasn't been spotted yet?
I don't know, because he shot me like 6 times and I didn't spot him while he was doing that.
That guy deserves like an ambush predator medal. There's the EBR. I'm not going to try and turn my turret. I'm dead now. I found the T100. And I hit him for 790 damage.
Worth.
I'm going to die, but it was fun.
Worth.
Behind me. Get him. Wow, that was a really fun game. That was such a weird Siegfried line game. I've never seen the map play out like that before, and it was a lot of fun to play it, where we kind of did the successful push through the open field. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we are just about out of time. We're actually a little bit over, but that's fine.
But we got to show off.
Oh, right. Okay, real quick.
Change crews.
Okay, so collector's vehicles. If you go into the tech tree, you see this little button right here. Click on that. Affirmative. Then you have vehicles by tier, filter by type, where you want. And then to go to a different nation, I would just need to go back to the tech tree. Oh, I can even, never mind. I don't even have to go back to the tech tree. I can just hit the back button. Back button, boom, you got all the categories there for the different nations. And yeah, you can access all of those collector's tanks there. Just remember, in order to get a collector's vehicle of a particular nation and tier, you need to have another vehicle of the same nation and tier researched. And then, what was the other thing we were doing? Something with crew?
Crew transfer.
Crew transfer. What do you mean, like put them in a different tank?
I believe, yeah. So just maybe just sending them to barracks and then bringing them back from the barracks.
Yeah. So if you go into any crew, you can right-click on them, send them to barracks. Something useful to keep in mind you can hit this button up here. Oh, there's also a send crew to barracks button, so you don't have to click them individually. I always forget about that button. This button right here, you hit return crew to your vehicle. So if you have them split off in a bunch of different tanks, you know, some are in the barracks, some are in tanks, whatever, you can't find them. A good first thing to do is to try to hit the return crew to vehicle button, and you should usually grab them, and it will grab the most recent fitting crew that was in the tank,
which is really good for so like you get your super Pershing, and then you're also going up the American medium line. Really easy for you to because obviously you can use a crew in a premium tank that's not trained for it, as long as it's the same nation and class. So you can use your M46 crew in your super Pershing, and then just go ahead and hit that return crew to vehicle button to switch it back.
Yep, really nifty, really useful. And yeah, that's it. So get a barracks filter to find special crew IU0. Is there not? I feel like we added. No, I'm just thinking of the recruits button. You're right. Yeah, that would be a really useful feature. Filter
like the idea
by
of that.
special crew. Yeah. Since we we have a ton of special crew members at this point.
All right,
But
folks,
anyway, that
thank you so
is
much
yep.
for
We
stopping
are.
by. We appreciate you hanging out.
Cabmech is and his green screen are fading away. The moon base doesn't have the best signal, so sometimes we get a little bit of interference.
Don't tell them about the moon base.
Kevin, you got any final words for the people?
Nope. Thank you so much for stopping by. Good luck with your grind, and let's get excited about 1.13. Some cool stuff coming.
Cool. And make sure to check out the What's Next anniversary premiering on our anniversary video premiering on our YouTube channel, World of Tanks North America at noon Central tomorrow. And come back here for Talking Tanks with myself, Commander AF, and our amazing video editor, Fix It in Post. And that's all we got. We'll see you. I'll see you.
I gotta tell you, sorry, I got one more thing. To celebrate the 1 year anniversary of What's Next, which premieres tomorrow at noon Central on the World of Tanks North America YouTube channel. So go check it out. Check by the stream after. And right now we're gonna raid Ominous Vixen, I think.
All right.
All right.
I can do that from Restream, I think.
I already got it queued up.
Okay, you got it?
But,
perfect.
have a good
All
night,
right. Bye-bye.